Want to beat up some thugs in a classic JRPG turn-based combat system in an amazingly well-realized urban Japanese sandbox? If any of this sounds like something you're interested in, then look no further than Yakuza Like a Dragon, which just so happens to be part of PlayStation Plus's August lineup of included games for the month, rolling out for PS Plus subscribers on August 2nd. This video will exclusively be discussing why you should try out Yakuza Like a Dragon, but don't disregard Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and Little Nightmares, which are both excellent games that should be tried as well. This is not a review of Yakuza Like a Dragon, but rather a no spoilers PSA as to why this game deserves your time and attention. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Turns out, all a hero needs is a quest. I finally found mine, and I'm going to play it my way.
Perhaps you've heard of the Yakuza franchise at some point. It has been around in gaming since the early days of the PS2 when the first games in the franchise came out in the early 2000s. The games have been celebrated for 2 decades now by giving players an incredibly immersive slice of urban Japan to brawl through and explore, getting involved in all manner of crazy side activities like playing billiards, classic full-length Sega games at the arcades, karaoke rhythm games, and more. You'll experience all this in Yakuza Like a Dragon and then some. What's so appropriate about this being a PlayStation Plus game is that you don't need to know anything about the previous 7 Yakuza games to have a good time here. Like a Dragon serves as a new story arc for the Yakuza franchise, where no prior knowledge of the previous games is required to have a good time with this one. Previous characters, factions, and other details do appear in Like a Dragon, but they serve in a minor way to pay homage to the past and rather to further flesh out the universe of the Yakuza franchise. Like a Dragon takes place in several urban sandbox environments in Japan, including fictional recreations of areas inspired by locations in Tokyo, Osaka, and Yokohama. For the series' first, Like a Dragon takes place primarily in Ijincho, the fictional recreation of a section of Yokohama, Japan, and is significantly larger than all other areas in the franchise's history. Players assume the role of a brand new character in Ichiban Kasuga, a low-ranking member of a Yakuza clan based out of Tokyo. Having served nearly 20 years in prison for a crime he did not commit to protect his clan, Ichiban finds himself betrayed by the very clan he was trying to protect after completing his time in jail. Betrayed and utterly destroyed by the people he once called his family, Ichiban wakes up after being left for dead and finds himself in present-day Yokohama. Broken down and determined to build a new name for himself and become a new man, Ichiban sets out across Japan to find meaning in a world that seems to have moved on from him. This guy is seriously over the top, and his lighthearted attitude and passion makes him one of the most eccentric protagonists in all of gaming. He wears his emotions on his sleeves and is genuinely likable. Ichiban Kasuga is joined by a wide range of equally interesting personalities that start to become his new family as they beat up thugs and corrupt officials throughout Yokohama and beyond. Such party members include a homeless man, an ex-detective, and a woman from a hostess club. Many more party members will eventually join Ichiban and his motley crew throughout the game. Also, unlike previous Yakuza games, Like a Dragon features turn-based combat rather than its real-time beat-em-up style in previous entries. Just like Persona or the earlier Final Fantasy games, players have all the time they need to plan out how their character battles while in combat. Like the old Final Fantasy games, Ichiban and his party are able to change jobs that dramatically expand their arsenal in unique and interesting ways. Want to have a brawler, an enforcer with a riot shield, a singer who deploys status ailments on enemies, and a samurai who can deal constant bleed damage on enemies? You can do that. The configurations are nearly endless as there are dozens of classes that you can level up and master. This game can get tough, so careful studying of enemy strengths and weaknesses are surely to help you the further you get into Yakuza Like a Dragon. Just like previous entries in the franchise, you will find yourself perhaps more absorbed by the side quests and completely optional activities at your disposal. You can wander the streets of Yokohama fighting thugs one moment, and just minutes later wander off into a karaoke bar, get inebriated there, unlock new fighting moves because you're so hammered, Go manage properties and other assets in a very involved asset management minigame that can make you insanely rich, and then end the night go-karting through the streets of Yokohama. This right here is the beauty of Yakuza Like a Dragon and of the franchise as a whole, because what's on offer here is a very captivating story that provides around 60 hours of engaging content, while also offering hundreds upon hundreds of hours of completely optional content that is both substantial in its breadth and in its quality. We're talking full-length classic Sega games being available at your fingertips at any time, and more side quests and extra content continues to unlock the further you progress into the game's story. Every action you do, whether eating ramen at a ramen shop, beating up an enemy using a certain skill, or playing through karaoke songs, will reward you experience points you can use to level up a variety of attributes for your characters. This game just seriously rocks, and is a game more than worth your attention this August, and is just a good game to have in your library if you are a PlayStation Plus member. It's also worth noting that if you are a subscriber to the PS Plus Extra and Premium tiers of the service, you will be entitled to the entirety of the previous saga of Yakuza games. These are the titles that pioneered the franchise as we know it today, with Kiryu starring as the main protagonist in these 7 games that will be available to PS Plus Extra and Premium tiers. That's right, once these games roll out in the middle of August, you will have access to all 8 Yakuza games if you are a member of PS Plus Extra or Premium. It's also worth mentioning that you should absolutely try the Judgment series, as these games were also developed by the talented studio who makes the Yakuza titles. These games also take place in the same universe as the Yakuza franchise, but much like Yakuza Like a Dragon, features a completely different storyline and a set of characters that makes it entirely unique. Definitely worth looking into if you end up liking Like a Dragon. So, are you thinking of picking up Yakuza Like a Dragon on PS Plus this August? What about the rest of the franchise when they release on the higher tiers? Let me know in the comments, and also beat the living out of the like and subscribe button for more videos surrounding the latest and greatest games in the industry. I've got plenty of reviews, previews, tips and tricks videos, and more, so if that interests you, I'd love to have you all aboard. Thank you, good people, for all the support you've been giving me, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Peace!